I will be in just a second. Not that I know of.
I know that the food bag at least works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had to unmute, that's all.
So are you up north or you down in Florida?
Down in Florida.
Okay. It's gonna be 88 here today. What's gonna be down there?
Supposed to be a high of 92 today.
All right, not so bad. It's muggy. What? You went down there?
82% humidity right now.
That's what we like.
Yeah, it's the humidity always.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Dawn Patrol. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. Eileen Delrossi, my co-host, is en route. We have Fru Nkimbeng is not here today. Work has sent him to Malta.
Really?
Yeah, in the Mediterranean.
Wow.
Not like Italy in the summer.
Well, except for the Sirocco, the hot winds from North Africa.
Is Malta near Spain? I'm trying to remember if it is.
No,
or not.
it's, well, I think of it as below Sicily in Italy.
Oh, Italy. Okay. Yep. Okay.
So,
I knew it was near one of the European countries, but I thought it was Spain.
no. No, it's an independent little operation there. And probably punches above its weight in terms of its contribution to things. Let's see. Oh, and Mike Smith from Florida.
Yep. Morning, everybody. Today is National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day for those who like chocolate chip cookies. So I thought I'd mention that.
Invented in Massachusetts.
Oh. So, the U.S. national debt is $37.188 trillion. Sunday morning it was $3 billion less. So you know how it is, $1 billion here, $1 billion there, it soon adds up to real money. And my dashboard,
Paper, too.
what?
It's all on paper.
Yes. The dashboard said it was 64, but it's going to 88 today. And it's going to be sunny. But right now it's pleasant. So in 1693 is the day traditionally ascribed to Dom Perignon's invention of champagne. I don't particularly like champagne. Do you like champagne, John?
If it's there, I'll drink it, but I won't go out of my way for it.
Oh. Mike, how do you feel about champagne?
Yeah, I'm not a big thing champagne. I'd rather have a mixed drink or a draft beer.
Yep. So in 1789, France abolished feudalism. Feudalism lasting that long? Not good. 1790, a newly passed tariff act created the Revenue Cutter Service, the forerunner of the United States Coast Guard. So happy birthday, Coasties. 1873, American Indian Wars. While protecting a railroad survey party in Montana, the United States 7th Cavalry under Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer clashed for the first time with the Cheyenne and Lakota people near the Tongue River. Only one man on each side was killed. Later, it didn't go so well for George. I didn't realize until last night, 1889, the Great Fire of Spokane, Washington, destroyed 32 blocks of the city. And there was a mass rebuilding project after that. And today, in 1892, the father and stepmother of Lizzie Borden were found murdered in their Fall River, Massachusetts home. A lot of bad things happened in Fall River. She would be tried and acquitted a year later. 1914, in response to the German invasion of Belgium and the British Empire declared war on Germany. The United States declared neutrality. In 1944, during the Holocaust, a tip from a Dutch informer leads the Gestapo to a sealed-off area in an Amsterdam warehouse where they found and arrested Jewish diarist Anne Frank, her family, and 4 others. Anne Frank didn't make it. Also in 1944, the Civil Rights Movement, 1964, the Civil Rights Movement, workers Michael Sherwiner, Andrew Goodman, and James Chaney are found dead in Mississippi after disappearing on June 21st. Not good. Also in 1964, the second Gulf of Tonkin incident, the U.S. destroyers Maddox and Turner Joy incorrectly report coming under attack in the Gulf of Tonkin. Out of this, we get the Gulf of Tonkin resolution, and we get deeper into the war in Vietnam. And in 1972, Ugandan President Idi Amin announces that Uganda is no longer responsible for the care of British subjects of Asian origin, beginning the expulsion of Ugandan Asians. Now, I wonder if that's how New York State Rep Mandani's family came to the United States. Born on this day in 1961, Barack Obama. In 19...
Yeah, but I just wanted to say something. They still own something in Uganda, though, because he was just there recently. So I don't know if they came back after that or whatever, but they've got money, his family. So
That's true. In 1970, Brett Baer, Fox 6 p.m. news show host, was born. And in 1981, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, American member of the British royal family, was born. 1792, Gentleman Johnny Burgoyne passed away. He, during the American Revolution, tried to cut off New England from the rest of the states. Coming out of Canada did not go well for him. In 1859, John Vianney passed away, French priest and saint, known sometimes as the Curé of Ars. And in 1875, Hans Christian Andersen, the Dutch novelist and short story writer, passed away. And in 1962, Marilyn Monroe passed away.
yeah, I remember that. Even though I was pretty young back then, I was only let's see, how old was I? 6 back then, I believe. Yeah, 6 or 7. I remember that all in the news about that.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize she was that young when she passed away. I remember it was all with supposedly, didn't she overdose on drugs, supposedly?
Yes.
I believe. You know, but you got to wonder if that was accidental or not. You know, there's still a lot of debate on that because of her being involved with Kennedy. They didn't want that coming out. So.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And then back then, it's when the press back then, you know, they knew about stuff and they didn't report it. You know, so they would, you know, they said, "Oh, don't report this." They didn't want people to know. I don't think that would happen nowadays so much. But
Didn't that start with Truman, though?
What?
Didn't that start with Truman? Was Truman the wheelchairian president?
No, that was FDR.
Okay. Didn't it start with FDR?
It may have started before then, because remember Woodrow Wilson, who got elected first, I think, in 1912, had a stroke and was incapacitated.
And then we had President Biden.
Yes.
So the media has had a habit of making our fearless leader look fearless and healthy and all good, the American way.
Well, except for Donald Trump, they don't mind dusting him
The
up
media,
a
the
little bit.
media hates the president of the United States today.
Yeah. And so today is the feast day of St. John Vianney. So we skipped over Friday that Kamala Harris is not running for governor. Do we have any thoughts on that, Mike?
well, if I was living in California, I'd be happy about that. Because I wouldn't want her running California, that's for sure. This doesn't mean that she's not going to run for president in 2028. It all depends on who the people with the money decide that have the best shot. But I have a feeling donors don't want her running for president. And as far as California governor, you know, I don't think that she would help them out at all. She's not a good manager at all. She should just go and spend time with her husband. They've got money. Go and do a book, do speaking engagements, and get on with life.
She did a book.
Because as far as a national politician, I think she's done. I just don't see where the party is going to back her. She did terrible in the election, this last election. I don't see how she's going to do any better. I think they're more looking at Mondami or AOC or stuff like that. They think that that's what's going to propel them forward. Probably the governor from Pennsylvania, is that what, Shapiro, I think?
Yeah,
Yeah. I
Josh
think
Shapiro.
yeah, I think that if they were smart, and I say if they were smart, they would be starting to see what they can do with him. He seems like he is a more moderate, knows what he's doing. He might be a better candidate if they're going to start looking for somebody to push for president.
Well,
John, do you have this in your text messages?
Yes, I do. Comment from the audience. I tried to interject with you guys. Over the weekend, Kamala was on TV, one of the late night talk show, Jimmy Kimmel kind of a thing, and she brought out her book. And so Bart's question this morning is, Bart, you know I don't read, so good for you. Is Cliff or Mike going to read Kamala's book? She was out cackling over the weekend. That's from Bart. So, Mike, you're going to read her book?
No. I can spend my money on other things. I don't need to read a book to know about her. So,
Cliff?
I'll read the book.
Okay.
yeah. Now, it'll be interesting, though, who really buys her book. Because, these book deals sometimes the politicians do, and it's both sides. Who's buying all the books is sort of a payback indirectly for them to get money, but not to do it so it's obvious. So I've seen that more than once where a lot of books are bought by donors and that, so that that's how they can influence the politician.
What's the name of the book? 107 Days or 117 Days? But it's about the campaign.
Yeah, so is she going to talk in the campaign about how she did mismanage $1.5 billion and how inept that the people she hired must be, or herself, to have lost the election? I mean, it's just, she hasn't been able to do anything with any kind of constant, I don't know how to put it exactly, but I think that she just doesn't know how to come across where people like her or show she's competent on running anything. I mean, Biden gave her stuff to do, and she couldn't even do that. And especially now with the border being shut down, she was supposedly the border czar and couldn't manage that. Trump did it in 3 months. So, I mean, that would be used against her immensely if she tried to run.
Yeah, I think you're right. The problem is there's only so much time, and Kareem Jean-Pierre is also coming out with a book this fall, so that'll be competing.
Yeah, they're all putting stuff out now. I'm waiting to see, what happens. But, again, I'm waiting to see if any of them break ranks and really talk about the decline of Biden. Because, that's what I'm waiting to see, really.
I agree. I did finish up last week Selena Zito's book, Butler, in which she talks about the assassination and she talks about the campaign last year.
Did you learn anything new?
Yeah, I don't think I had realized the degree to which the press just simply ignores the people in the flyover states and passed up
Well,
opportunities.
so do you. You just did.
How's that?
What the backslab of the flyover states?
The what?
Don't you know what the flyover states are?
Yes.
Well, the audience has no idea what you're talking about. Mike, what's the flyover states?
Flyover states probably in the Midwest, West, Oklahoma, Dakotas, those kind of states probably.
Okay, could be Florida.
No.
So
Western
No.
tell
Pennsylvania.
us
Ohio,
what you
Indiana.
consider the flyover states are, Cliff.
I would say it starts in maybe at the Susquehanna River, and it goes west. That'd be like Harrisburg,
Oh, that's helpful. Thank you.
Pittsburgh into Ohio, Indiana, southern Illinois, and west. The people that elected Donald Trump president this last year.
Well, it's almost every state elected Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Massachusetts didn't, but
New York didn't. So
it's not just the flyovers, what you call the flyover states.
the press tends to pay attention to the coastal elites.
It's where the TV stations are. Where do you think Atlanta News is going to talk about? Arkansas. Arkansas is not going to come up on Atlanta News. Boston News. Ever hear about Arkansas?
Yeah.
Never.
That's-
Mike, down in Florida, you ever hear about Arkansas in the news?
Only when the governor is talking, or ambassador. I'm trying to think of the name. Her father is the ambassador to Israel, I believe.
Huckabee.
Who is it?
Huckabee.
Yeah, Huckabee. Yeah. So that's only when you hear something with Arkansas. And of course, Bill Clinton's from there. So.
And they just had a school teacher murder 2 people in front of their children.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay, let's move over to Kansas. When was the last time you heard of Kansas? They don't talk about that on Atlanta News. How about in Florida, Mike? They're talking about
I'm sorry, John, I didn't hear all of that.
Kansas. Hear about Kansas? Down in Florida?
No, I mean, I don't see. I mean, in Florida, you see news about Florida. I mean, it's the national news. I don't see anything about Kansas. None of those too much.
Okay, thanks.
John, were you able to
I'm looking for where you sent it, Cliff. Did you send it in a text message or?
text message?
Okay. Looking for it now.
You know, the only time I might hear about Kansas isn't Ducey from Fox. Isn't he from Kansas, I believe?
Not sure.
Yeah.
So, moving right along, Senator Josh Hawley has introduced a bill to send tariff rebate checks to Americans. I think this is a terrible idea.
I agree with it, and I'm going to tell you why. Are they that stupid? I mean, really, are they that stupid? Did they not learn from all the money that was paid to people? I mean, it was nice I got the checks. I didn't give them back to the government during COVID. Do they not realize what that did to the national debt and to inflation and all the other stuff? Take the darn money and pay down the debt. That's what supposedly everybody says they want to do, you know, in Congress now. They've taken in $120 billion in tariffs now. Last month, we actually took in $20 billion more than we spent for like the first time in forever for the federal government. So take the money and pay down the debt. That will help people out more than anything else. So stop doing that kind of stuff. It's a feel-good thing, but then you have to get the pain after it. So let's not do that. I hope they don't consider that. I hope they just squash that.
Cliff, you sent it
There's
from
no reason to
iCloud.
give people any money back like that.
That's where you sent it from, iCloud. I deleted your iCloud account. because I can never get it, but I got a workaround. I'll make it work. Can you just send from your cell phone?
Can I, you say? Yes,
Thank you.
I think.
Well, I don't know. You're the only one I know that can send me anything from iCloud, and congratulations. But it doesn't come up on this. See, I have this big screen over here, and I'll show it to you, okay? And my instant messages, this is when my instant messages come through. And it has every Tom, Dick, and Mary that I have messages from. They click along into here, so I can click on whoever they might be and look at them, copy and paste it up on the screen. iCloud does not come through. So I'm going to click on this guy. And in regards to the border, oh, wait a second, I got 2 comments from this guy. He didn't sign, so it's from Jay. So how about the title? She's blaming everyone else except her being a lousy candidate. Second comment from this morning. In regards to the border, if the media told the truth about migrants storming our borders, it would have been closed earlier. No, we were getting reports on that the whole time. That's my memory. I remember when Joe Biden was high and mighty, we had reports of people running over the border every day. I saw a video of it almost every day of people just walking in from Mexico. The public knew about it. Back over to you, Cliff.
Okay,
I'm trying to get that text up. And when I get it up, I'll let you know right away.
Okay. So, does anybody still care about the Epstein imbroglio? I mean, Democrats didn't care for 4 years, and now all of a sudden it's a big deal to the Democrats.
Well, that's only because they think that they can do something to damage Trump. They think, they think that that'll help them in damaging Trump. And I don't think that there's anything there. I mean, be careful what I say to the Democrats, be careful what you wish for. Because if you want to open that Pandora's box, it's going to hit everybody. There was, on both sides of the aisle, there were people involved. So I don't think any of the politicians want any of that going off. But the press is so adamantly hate Trump and can't stand him that they don't care. They've lost their mind because they don't realize it's going to damage the people they supposedly are backing. So it's just, it's never going to come out. They're going to talk about it, and I think Trump said, go ahead and release it if you want to. Why would he say that if he was worried about it was going to be bad for him? So I don't think the Democrats are going to have a win on any of that. I don't think anybody cares about that right now.
If we're good to talk about this, I finally got it up.
Yeah.
Sorry for the delay.
I saw this over the weekend describing Democrats, and maybe John Curtis can comment on this.
He's not enrolled.
He's on the roof?
Unenrolled. One of those
Unenrolled.
independent candidates.
Yeah.
But Massachusetts has a SWAT sticker on us called unenrolled.
Yeah. Some states it's called declines to state.
Where did you see this now?
I saw this at the Instapundit blog site.
Wow. That's...
Oh, wouldn't you say the Jews run the media?
No, I don't say that.
I would. If you look at the names on the broadcasters, most are Jewish. That's my...
You mean like Brett Baer?
I have no idea who Brett Baer is, but yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay, I do.
Wow, this is pretty bad with having that up there. I would think that if I had anything to do with the Democratic Party, I would want that taken off wherever that is.
The Democrats have a machine. The Republicans don't respect the fact that they have a machine. And come the fall, the Democrats are going to kill the Republicans again. End of story. You have no machine. You have a cavalry with beautiful horses and nice swords, beautiful uniforms. They have tanks and helicopters. The Republicans are going to lose again.
Well, I guess we'll just have to see, John, but, it just, I don't know. It all depends on how things are going. And the Republicans have a lot of money in their war chest now. The Democrats do not. And
how much?
Unless they can get somebody who's a national candidate that can connect with the people, I think the Democrats are still going to be floundering. I mean, that rant by Cory Booker the other day, oh my gosh. I mean, the guy needs to take something to calm him down. And, and Schumer now in the Senate, they've had enough with Schumer. They're just not going to they're not going to be kissing up to him anymore, trying to kiss up. It's just, they're using somebody like Mondami and AOC to be their national message. I don't see where that's going to fly. If that flies, we really have some bigger problems than I thought.
Yeah. But you're right. The Republican National Committee's got $80 million in the bank, and the Democratic National Committee's got something like $14 million in the bank. And that is a bit of a difference.
Yeah, and the donors now, they're not giving money. After what happened with this last election, a lot of those donors, they're not willing to give money anymore. They're just not willing to put the money out.
Okay, so the news report is that Jeffrey Epstein's girl pal, Ghislaine Maxwell, has been moved from a federal prison in Florida to a country club prison in Texas, which has got some of his victims upset. Do you think they're going to cut a deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll cut a deal if they can make the Democrats look bad. I mean, come on, they're politicians. The Republicans, if they can if they can make the Democrats look really bad from this thing with Epstein, they'll cut a deal with her. Yeah.
Okay. John.
Yeah, I got one more text I got to put up there. Not read them all. I got 4. And that's coming up in a second or so. If you look up at your TV set, you can read the text before I get it up there. Okay, so come on, last text. Let's go. Okay, there it is. Okay. This is from John Curtis. Cliff and Mike's thoughts on Trump's firing of the top Bureau of Labor Statistics official because of the low job report growth for July. You don't like the numbers? Sure.
Yeah, I'll comment on that.
Mike, I'm almost done. You don't like the numbers? Show and shoot your messenger. Sounds like authoritarianism to me. That's from John Curtis. Moving on to the next text. Is Cliff or Mike going to read Kamala's book? We already read this guy. That's old, sorry. This next one, Mike is correct. The Trump administration fumbled the Epstein files, but the mainstream media are just too small to try to recover the fumble. The kids are watching YouTube, not the lame media, stream media. That's from Bart. And the last text we have in this group is, I'll blow it up just a tad. The Democrats have no plan for direction for the country. Jay, they have a magnificent machine. So they are using the crooked media to do their reporting on issues. Well, let me just say this. It's summertime. The media interns are running all the news stations. They're all on vacation. And once school comes back in, the regular media goes back to work. Back over to you, Cliff.
Okay, so I do want to comment. I did look up stuff about this firing by Trump of the labor Bureau of Labor Statistics person. Well, let me give you the real statistics. Is that in May and June, they were off by 258,000 jobs. The July's growth was, so they basically, said they revised down the May's new jobs by 120,000 and June's by 133,000. If I was working for a private company and I made those kind of big mistakes in my job, they'd fire me. I mean, obviously they've got the wrong software, the wrong people doing something. To be off by that much, they need to fire somebody and send a message that you need to start doing things better. I did do a lot of research on that when I saw that. And they were off by a huge amount, just huge amounts. And there's no, how do you trust a department of the government like that when they can't get those things even close? It's just terrible. And the problem with the Biden administration is when people were making mistakes like that, they just said, yeah, okay, and they let them keep going. Trump is a business person before he's a politician. It's like, people aren't doing their job right, I get rid of them. And I'm glad that he fired this person because it should send a message not only to the people in that department, to every other department. You got to get your job and do it right. If not, you're not going to be here anymore. So I commend him for firing that person. The amount of job, they were off by 258,000 jobs. The stock market, all kinds of other people, they use that information to base on how they're going to do stuff. Businesses and that also. So you need to get those things right. Too many people in the country depend on those statistics to make decisions. And I'm glad that he fired that person.
There's a companion piece that goes along with that, and that is President Trump is not getting hundreds and hundreds of Senate confirmation required appointments in the government. That's 4,000 people require Senate confirmation. And sure, he got Rubio, because I don't think the Senate was going to turn on one of their own. He got Hegseth. He got a couple people. But the next level of managers in the executive branch are in limbo because of the fact that the Democrats won't go with unanimous consent to appoint them.
Hey, what time's Eileen coming?
I have no idea.
Understood.
She didn't answer her phone, and I texted her, and she didn't answer the text.
All righty.
So I think she rolled over.
Cliff, I did see all that on the news and looked into that. And basically they're making every single confirmation person now, and Schumer is a lot of it holding up. I saw an interview on how the Republicans were trying to work with Schumer and give him, and they said, he's just getting ridiculous. Nothing is going to be good for him. So basically, starting today, when they get back in session, they're going to look to change the Senate rules on this. And they're going to, the Democrats are saying, oh, you're going to go to the nuclear option. Well, basically, Republicans said you left us no choice in the matter. They're going to change the rules, and so they can start getting these people confirmed. So they've tried. They've had enough. They said that this has never happened on this many confirmations, holding up every single one of them to go through a vote. And all these people were by partisan consent out of the committees put up for a vote. And now the Democrats, and Schumer's behind a lot of it, trying to force all the debate on every single one. So this week, today, they are going to look into changing the Senate rules on all these confirmations.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. They're biting off their nose to spite their face.
It all has to do with Trump. He is not a politician. I don't care if he's been president twice or not. He's not it's always both sides. They give a wink and a nod. We'll go along to get along. We're all in this together. We're making money and all the other stuff. But, because he is not afraid to tell people to go pound salt, they don't like that. And so they're trying to hold everything up. And they're also scared of him getting all these people in there. Because if you look at the people that are in there already, like Hedges, Department of Defense, Bondi, U.S. Attorney General, Christy Nome, these people are there trying to get stuff done. And they don't care if they like you or not, if the people like them or not.
Comment from the audience. The leaders in the Democratic Party told them block Trump on everything. He's looking to confirm. Chuck Schumer is a fraud, has been stealing from the country for decades. That's from Jay. I think this is a big fire over the fact that they're going to take away, Trump's going to take away insider trading, and Congress doesn't like that.
Yep. Well, the other thing, too, is Schumer's afraid that AOC is going to run against him for Senate. And so he is trying to do whatever he can to make himself look like he's trying to hold up everything instead of trying to go along, cooperate bipartisan with the Republicans. So I'll tell you, if New York elects AOC as their senator, I'm so glad I don't live there anymore. Between Mondami and her, New York is just going right down the tubes. And also with the rich people, with Mondami saying I'm going to tax the rich more, you know what the rich people do? They just move out of New York. And they conduct their business from Florida, Texas, or wherever else they move to. They don't need to live there. That's how stupid he is to say that.
Yep, not good. So, over in the Middle East, it looks to me like Hamas is winning the information war. France and the United Kingdom have promised to recognize Palestine as a independent nation in September. That's not so far away. And
Ain't going to happen.
they're not going to recognize them?
They're not going to be an independent nation. It's a choice between AOC and Chucky Doll Schumer. The voters will go with AOC over the 240-year-old Schumer. That's from Bart. Interesting, thank you.
She's got a lot of flash. She's she's got a loud mouth. She's at rallies. She's with Bernie Sanders and all that. So she gets a lot more media time. Schumer looks tired and old. The same old stuff. There's nothing exciting about him. People, she does okay for a bartender from New York City. So she looks, she's good looking. I understand it, but I don't think she's got the intelligence to do things better for New York. Schumer, whether you like him or not, he's been around. He knows the in and outs. Neither one. I'm not happy with either one, but AOC, I think, is dangerous.
Comment from the audience. Great point, Mike. New York is going to have some problems on a large scale. Back over to you, Cliff.
Okay. So,
Hey, Wayne, I'll be right there, thanks.
I didn't think I'd locked the door. So,
Please proceed.
what?
Please proceed.
Yeah. So,
This stuff about Hamas, Cliff, with with France and the United Kingdom, the only reason anything is going on with this is because our media is making them look okay. If the media here was against Hamas more, I don't think you'd be seeing some of this. And I don't understand why France and the United Kingdom would want to recognize Palestine as a nation. They need to figure something else out in that area that's better.
well, there are confusing signals. On the one hand, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Republican, thinks that it's genocide in Gaza. On the other hand, and maybe when John gets back he can find the photograph, I've seen a photograph of one of the leaders of the Hamas movement, and he's looking pretty overfed to me. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but with Hamas, I think, is convinced a goodly portion of the world that Israel is committing genocide, but I don't think it meets the definition, which is the destruction of a nation or of an ethnic group in which its members were not targeted as individuals, but rather as members of the group.
Yeah, I think that what concerns some people in that part of the world is because of now, like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, some of those countries are all recognizing Israel now, and that worries those people that are in that area, the Hamas and all them, Iran. So they're trying to make it look like Hamas is not as bad as it is. Who's going to run Palestine? They've had the PLO there before, and look at what they did. So they don't have any real central government of people that look like they can handle running the area. So I mean, it's just a disaster there.
Well, according to John, right above that last thing you brought up, there's a picture of Palestinian leader Osama Hamdan. Do you think you could bring that up? A couple of the nations nations in the Middle East have come out and said that Hamas needs to be disarmed. So you have the flow of thought in the West and certain other places going one direction, and then in the Middle East you have it flowing in the other direction. And you hear stories about Israelis shooting people. You don't hear about Hamas shooting people. So I'm not sure that it's all clear. No. Oh, that wouldn't have been me. I hate coffee. I totally lost my train of thought. So I think that right now Hamas is winning the war, and they've just on Friday broke off talks with the mediators. So what are the chances we're going to get the hostages back? I don't think it's very high. So
The hostages are dead, Cliff.
no, I don't think they're all dead.
Is this the person sitting down with St. Patrick?
No, it's the one after that.
There is no one after that, because I'll show you.
Show me. This will be good.
I got this guy,
Yeah, that's it, right above St. Patrick.
this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe he'll get big, maybe he won't. Get this guy over here.
All right.
So what do you want to say about this character?
So he's saying our people are starving. He's one of the leaders of Hamas, but you look at his belly, it's bigger than mine, and mine's too big.
He enjoys his pizza.
So I'm not sure how he's his people are starving, but he's not.
City Councilor Wayne Jenness is in the building. He's coming on at 7.
Yeah. I was thinking of inviting him to join me here. We'll give him a quick introduction because some voters may leave for work at 7
Are we
o'clock.
done with this pizza lover?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
You could put up the St. Patrick one. I think it's funny. Wayne, do you want to come over and join us while we look for St. Patrick? Good.
Middle seat, okay.
Yeah. You're the big cheese. You get to sit in the middle. Yeah,
so-
that one.
I'll shrink it up so it fits. Okay, Cliff, go ahead.
Now, what's that say? Ill-fated blind date between St. Patrick and Medusa. You don't think
All
it's
set?
funny?
I think it's funny.
Yeah, I'm all done.
Good.
So, it's myself and Mike Smith down in Florida who's on Zoom. This is Wayne Jenness, City Councilor, District
Morning.
4, right?
Yes, correct. Morning.
And that's the misshapen district in my mind. But it's downtown Lowell and across the river.
Yep, it's downtown and adjacent, so everything from Back Central all the way up to a little slice of Centerville and Pawtucketville right next to Dracut, and a little sprinkling of the acre here and there too.
I did my own configuration. It did not look like that. So you're running again.
I am.
This will be your third?
Correct. This is my third shot at it. Obviously successful the first 2 times around and hoping to be successful again this time.
So where are you from originally, Wayne?
So I grew up on the South Shore,
Okay.
a little town called Whitman, which is just next to Brockton. And then I first came to Lowell in the summer of 2005. I had been working in Woburn and really watching my life disappear behind the dashboard of the car. And so started looking around for, what I could afford as a fairly young person on a fairly young person salary, and it certainly wasn't Woburn or anything adjacent. So ended up at South Lowell with a couple of roommates and really haven't left since then. So
Yeah, but you changed roommates.
I did, yes. Upgraded, if you will.
So I read you met your wife at a Spinners game?
Indeed, yep. So it was
The Spinners were so appalled they left.
I don't know that I would blame that, but
okay.
it was a Friday in July of 2011. I was meeting my friend Mike, who's actually one of the ones I was a roommate with in South Lowell. But I was meeting him before the Spinners game, and happened to bump into Kerry. There was an extremely awkward first date going on at Beer Works, just down the bar from where I was sitting, and I was trying to not get sucked into it and kind of looking away, and she was hearing the same thing, and we kind of caught eyes and were like, "Are you hearing this?" And so we started talking about how awkward their first date was, and then ended up hanging out, and her ticket for the game ended up being in our section, so ended up watching the game with us, and that was the end of it. So
Yeah, that's good. And you're in IT.
yes, yep. So I've been doing IT stuff really since I was in high school. I started doing that. I worked for the school district where I graduated from, Whitman-Hanson. The summer after my junior year, they just needed kids to plug in computers and that kind of stuff. And it really grew from there, and now I work for a software company down in Wakefield. We do financial services software. But I've worked all over. I've worked for educational institutions. I've worked for the Community Health Center here in Lowell. I've worked for a pediatric practice in Woburn for almost 10 years. So I've kind of bounced around a lot, but I've been in my current role for just about 5.5 years now.
Where'd you go to college then?
I bounced around, actually. So I started out at Bentley, and then that became financially unfeasible for me to continue. So then I relied on the the public education we have here in Massachusetts. I took a couple classes at Massasoit Community College, did a couple years at Bridgewater State, and then the end of it was out at UMass Amherst. I didn't end up getting a degree, but I got a lot of experience and
Wow.
stuff. So
Yes, you sound like my granddaughter. She was out at UMass Amherst and dropped out and got married. So, one course short. So she's back getting a nursing degree,
okay.
which is good. Because we're pitching to the people that are going to leave at 7 o'clock, what do you think are the main issues in the race?
So what I've really run into talking to folks is that people want to feel heard. People want to feel like their city councilor knows what's going on the ground. Whether it's something as small as a pothole or a trash issue in somewhere, people are looking for someone to step up and take responsibility and really own that kind of stuff and really improve the look of the city, the livability of the city, and the accessibility of the city. Whether that's communication coming from City Hall or knowing who to call to have an issue taken care of, things like that. It's really about making that connection between the city government and its residents for me.
Okay. So,
If I just want to close out the text from our conversation earlier this morning. Videos of Hamas stealing the food and starving the population are circulating on social media. Second one, great point, Mike. New York is going to have problems on a large scale. She's also better looking than him. I think she's talking about AOC. And LOL, Mr. Krieger, very funny. And then Mike, AOC is also graduated magna cum laude from BU. Let's not minimize her intelligence by writing her off as a former bartender with looks. Back over to you, Cliff. That's all the comments for this hour.
okay. Yeah, we've been talking, our last issue's been Hamas and Gaza. Do you have any views on that?
I think my views are mainly it's a humanitarian crisis, and it's really upsetting and disheartening to see all the destruction, the death, and really the senseless violence that we see over here. I don't think there's an easy answer to it. This has been something that's been going on since the creation of Israel, just after World War II, and it ebbs and flows. And right now we're in a particularly bad spot. And I'm glad that foreign relations aren't something that city councilors have to weigh in on.
I can understand that. Mike, you have any thoughts for this hour before we go away?
No, I mean, I'll just wait till, we only got another minute or so. It's just that, I was reading the comments there about AOC, and I was looking up some of her background. And, I know I made that comment about pretty good for a bartender from New York. And I knew she went to Boston University and that. But the problem is that I see someone like her as just, let's talk louder and promise everything to everybody like Mondami. And we'll worry about how we're going to pay for it, because we always use the rich
Sorry,
as
kids,
our
we gotta go.
crutch to always do everything.
Mike, we gotta go.
The bad guys. So.
Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to City Life Show. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. We have Mike Smith down in the Tampa area of Florida, Tampa Bay area. And our guest is Wayne Jenness, running for his third shot at being a city councilor in Lowell. And look at this, we have Eileen Delrossi.
Hi, Eileen, how are you? Good, thank you.
So,
Eileen, slide to Wayne. Good. Thank you.
I apologize for being late. My son took my phone and did a factory, like a update, a reset, and it lost all the alarms. But I had a great sleep in.
There you go.
I would just like you all to know that.
well, that's the way it goes. So, Wayne, you're originally from the South Shore?
Yep.
Got here in what, 2005?
2005, I moved to South Lowell,
Okay.
and I've been downtown since 2009, so.
So that's helped you to get elected because you'd have been up against Kim Scott.
You know, I don't know that I would have dipped my toe in that water, but, when I moved downtown, it was apparent to me right off the bat that we didn't really have representation from the downtown on the council. Of course, that was under the old system. So when the system changed and we had district-based representation, I was really excited to see who was going to run to represent the downtown, who I could support. Tried to convince some various friends and neighbors to run. Ran out of people to convince, so I ended up looking in the mirror one day and I said, well, I guess it's going to be me. So threw my hat in the ring in 2021. Was honored to be elected in that election, and then re-elected last time around, and so looking to do it again this time.
I love how you said that, because when you say look in the mirror, like when you're so frustrated with the system and how things are working, like that's what pushed me to even run for school committee. Like, I'm just gonna throw my hat in the ring, right? The ring,
Yep.
right? Did I say that right? And like, I never thought I would get elected. I just thought I'd throw out some good ideas and Hillary would take it over, And then when I actually got elected, I was like, oh.
Now you got to do the work.
This is serious. But you look in the mirror and say, could I do this? And I didn't know anything about politics whatsoever. I'm still learning. And you do have to look in the mirror sometimes and say, if no one else is doing this, maybe I should.
Yep.
But in Ward 4, the people need to look in the mirror and say, you need to vote.
It's true. We have one of the lowest turnouts in the city. I think District 7, the Acre, is the only one that's had less voters than we have. And I'm trying to get out there and convince people to get registered and find their way to the polls come November. Hopefully we'll be successful in raising that number somewhat. I don't think we're going to be ahead of Belvedere this time around, but maybe we can take some steps forward.
Well, at least you haven't been as bad as Tewksbury and Tyngsboro, which had 8% turnout for local election and 3% turnout. I mean, that's appalling.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Coming from the audience, it's great to have Councilor Jenness on the show. I completely disagree with almost all of his positions, but it's great to finally have him on. That's from Bart. Thanks.
Well, thanks, Bart. I think we're all trying to make a better Lowell, and we just have slightly different opinions on what that looks like and how to get there. But I'm always happy to have those conversations and understand where people are coming from and try to share a little bit from where I'm coming from and how I see how I see the problems and the issues and where we can go forward.
Hey, did you two Democrats go to the Democratic City Committee gathering at Shed Park yesterday?
I went.
Did you go, Eileen?
No.
Okay. How was it?
It was good. There was a decent crowd there.
I
did
counted
not.
like 52.
I didn't count, so, but I was not able to go last year, so this is the first one I was able to go to, but pretty good turnout. Steve Kerrigan, the chair of the Mass Dems, came and spoke to us briefly, and we had some other local politicians come and chat. the 3 state reps from Lowell, state rep from Chelmsford, state rep from Tewksbury, Wilmington. And, it was just a good opportunity to see people, have a burger and a hot dog, and catch up and see how summer was going. It was a beautiful day to be outside. So
Yeah, it looked great.
I was very happy that it was last Sunday and not, some of the other Sundays we've had with, ridiculous heat and humidity. So it was comfortable to be outside and hanging out yesterday.
Did you have Senator Chuck Schumer up to make cheeseburgers for the crowd?
No, he didn't make it, so.
Oh, okay. A very strange situation.
Meanwhile, the Republicans are back on the barn, brushing their horses and polishing their silver swords.
Yes.
The Democrats have a magnificent machine in Massachusetts. Republicans have horses.
Who'd they rent it out to last November?
I didn't process that question well.
I think Cliff should be the symbol in Massachusetts for the Republican.
Who did the Democrats rent out their magnificent machine last November?
Oh, it worked just fine in Massachusetts. Said it worked just fine in Massachusetts.
Never mind, John. Moving right along.
Cliff, Trump won, but Kamala didn't do so bad when you look at the numbers.
Yeah.
So she could have won if the machine tried a little harder.
But
But they didn't.
Trump won because of what? Black men, right?
I didn't, Cliff, I'm not a good analyst. I'm not going to dwell a lot. We got Wayne this morning. Let's talk about city stuff, please.
Well,
You can get back tomorrow. We'll talk national politics if you want to.
John?
Oh, wait, did we give a Bob Hoey update? How is he doing?
Much improved.
Oh, good.
He's talking, he's eating, he's doing well.
That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that.
Still on ICU down in Tufts. No visitors, but prayers. Please continue.
Glad to hear that.
So, Wayne, you've got the district where we've got to get back to business in order to help Lowell grow. At least I think so. The downtown. And do you have any thoughts on how to make the situation better?
Sure. I think in some respects it's a bit of a critical mass thing, right?
Yeah.
I think if you get to a certain point of having good commercial activity, it's going to grow upon itself. And I think you can see a microcosm of that just walking up Market Street. If you look at Market Street the way it was 5 or 6 years ago, lots of empty storefronts and, it didn't have a whole lot of vitality. You walk down the street now, every storefront except for one is full. So you have a lot more of that activity with people walking around and cross-pollination, and that just feeds those small businesses. And then you zoom out a little bit and you look at something like the Link project that the university is taking on, which is also in District 4. And I think that's a huge step in the right direction for the economic growth of the city as a whole. We've got private companies coming in looking to build operations within the district. We've got they're also looking to add housing for recently graduated folks from the university, so they can kind of have their first job and their first apartment really in the same spot. And I think that's a great step forward. We're going to see a lot of activity that's adjacent to that, whether that's in the Link District or Hamilton Canal or other areas of the city. Once you build that kind of critical mass of companies looking to come to Lowell to take advantage of everything that Lowell has to offer, other companies are going to see that and say, hey, we should do that too. And so I think that helps.
It's like a mini Boston, kind of. Like, not a lot of people have cars in Boston, but they commute their way to their jobs, and there's the BC and the BU in Boston, right? And so, it makes sense, for the upcoming generation.
What about those 2 parcels down there that we haven't seen developed in the Hamilton Canal District?
So I think you're talking about parcels 15 and 16, the old National Park parking lots, basically.
Yeah.
So there is some activity there. particularly on one of them, the larger one. The city is in some active discussions to get something going there. I'm not sure how much I can say because we've talked about it in an executive session, but I don't think it's been public yet. But there is some activity there. I got my fingers crossed. I think we're going to see some good development there as well.
Good. So, speaking of money, what's the story on the school? Are we ever going to put an end to this? Is it going to go up much more? How are we going to pay for it besides you taxing us elderly here in Lowell?
Sure. So it's a challenge. Lowell, like many gateway cities, 2/3 of our budget comes from state aid mainly. The other third comes from our property tax levy. And so how we slice up the pie so that the schools get appropriately funded, which I think is a very important thing to do here, particularly in a city like Lowell, that is really known for being, an educational city. We have the first integrated high school in the country. Racially, we have a community college. We have a university where you can earn your PhD, so you can go from kindergarten all the way to your PhD without leaving the city of Lowell, and that's pretty impressive. We have to make sure that we're funding the schools appropriately. We had that discussion about the $4 million that the school was expecting that ended up not being in the budget, and for me, this really spoke to collaboration and cooperation. It shouldn't have come out at the time it did. In my opinion, this should have been something that the manager and the superintendent had been working hand in hand on for much longer, because nobody likes a surprise at the 11th hour, and that's what it felt like to me. So I've talked to the manager about this, and I've asked him that, next year when we go through this budget cycle again, to really work closely with the superintendent as they go through their process and we go through our process, so that when we get to the end, we're all pulling in the same direction. I think that's the most important thing. There's been changes with how the schools have been funded at the state level. Things like the Student Opportunity Act has shifted some money around to try and take some of the burden off of cities like Lowell that really don't have, a bottomless pit of cash to be able to go where it needs to go. So things like that help, but you need to be able to work with both sides of the administration really in order so that everybody knows what's coming and can adequately plan for it. And these discussions don't have to happen at the last minute. That's my opinion.
But still, Eileen's short a couple $1 million, right?
No, I mean, it's all in the wash now, but at the end of the day, I think Wayne's point that they should have been in collaboration, like city manager, superintendent, they need to be in constant collaboration because of the connection with the city and the buildings and all of it. And when they're not, you're right, it looks bad upon everyone, essentially, and I didn't really know how important that relationship was until really this past year, and just seeing things slip through the cracks. And it's unfortunate because our schools are in disarray nationally, right? Everywhere. So Lowell's not an exception, but now to be minus funding in these critical times is definitely not good.
And unfortunately, I think it's probably going to be a situation where it gets worse before it gets better, just from the overall headwinds. Obviously the folks in charge at the federal level are looking to make changes and change how things are funded, and that affects municipalities down the road. How much money comes into the state government and what they can do with it is going to impact how much money can come into the city of Lowell and what we can do with it. So it's going to be a challenge over the next however many years to really make sure we're meeting all the needs we need to meet. And that's one of the reasons I'm running again, is I think that an experienced, steady hand is what we need right now. I'm hoping to be that for the folks at District 4 in the city of Lowell.
So are we ever going to put an end to the rehabilitation of the high school? And how much more is it going to cost us?
So I've said the only way out is through at this point, right? We've committed to building a state-of-the-art high school in the downtown for our students. We've already finished a couple phases. We're looking to get through the rest of the project. We can't give up now. Our kids deserve to have a completed project. Our kids deserve to learn in a comfortable environment that's conducive to learning. And the only way we're going to do that, unfortunately, at this point is to invest what it takes to get the project done and get it done right. And, you know, unfortunately, with the latest delays stretching out the timeline, I'm really upset about that, and I'm really hoping that there can be some opportunity. I've asked the project team and the city manager to try to step back, look outside the box, see if there's a way to utilize anything outside the high school footprint to be able to speed this up so we aren't looking at the lengthy delay that we were looking at. I don't know if it's possible, but I hope that it is. This building project, like all other building projects before it, will eventually end one way or another. And so our kids will be better off for it once we have a completed school for them to be in.
Okay, so the people that are doing our school, Skanska, are also replacing the Rourke Bridge. Do you think that we're going to get it for $300 million, or do you expect that we'll find price creep on that, and will we get it done in a reasonable amount of time?
So I think there's a couple things at play here. One thing to look at is Skanska is playing a different role in the Rourke Bridge project than they are in the downtown high school project. For the high school project, they are the owner's project manager. So they are supposed to be our eyes and ears, making sure that the project stays on time and things get done the right way. For the Rourke Bridge project, they're actually the construction company. They're the general contractors responsible for doing all that work. So it is a slightly different lens, and I think it's important to note that. I think it's also important to note that a downtown high school, the size and scope of Lowell High School, is a very different project than a bridge over the river, which is not to say the Rourke Bridge is an easy project. It's not, but I think it's less complicated, and it's more, it's a clearer path forward for the bridge. And if you want to talk about price creep, I mean, I think if you zoom out and look at what it would have cost to replace the Rourke Bridge 10, 15 years ago when it probably should have been replaced, yes, it's going to cost more now. And it may cost a little more by the time the project is done. But waiting isn't going to make it cost any less.
That's true, that's true. So,
Got a comment from the audience. It says, respectfully, Mr. Jenness, it's going to be on the citizens of Lowell, meaning the high school.
So in that note, we have had help from the state delegation, after the initial MSBA budget was approved, and then we had the price increases due to the availability of materials during COVID. Senator Kennedy was able to get some additional funding from the state that's taken the burden off the taxpayers a little bit. Now we've had this latest increase. I'm hopeful that the MSBA may be able to do something to help us out, but I'm not overly confident that it's going to happen. But unfortunately, there's the other option is to stop the project. So I don't know that that's a good option either.
How about Senator Markey? Is he going to kick in any dough, or Congresswoman Trahan, she going to kick in any dough? Have they been contacted?
I believe those discussions have happened with the city manager reaching out. I don't know whether or not there's any possibility of having that happen. I think right now it's very difficult to get national leadership in terms of the Senate or the House to really give a city like Lowell money. If you look at what's been happening with the expenditures recently, it certainly hasn't been to invest more money into cities like Lowell.
Turning the page to Eileen, the school system in Lowell is not going to change, going to get any better until we stop promoting everybody. There's no consequences. I can skip school every day. As long as I'm registered, I'm going to the next grade. And I know that's beyond your control, Eileen, but as long as there's no consequences, nothing's going to change.
I agree. Unfortunately, I mean, it's a state initiative. I think that they passed in 2015, Chapter 33 and a half, where nobody should be suspended, out of school suspended. They need to be all in the school if they're suspended, in-house suspension. You know, like, it's warm and fuzzy, and you're right, like, you know, there's a lot of factors that play into it. Like, there need to be consequences. If you're not passing and you're not doing well, there needs to be a consequence, and it needs to be corrected appropriately in the academic terms, you know? And we don't have that now. We don't have any even discipline for kids getting into fights at school. Like, you don't have, administrators just don't have any type of recourse. And parents, it allows parents to be less accountable as well.
Coming from the audience, John, you always say we should teach our children financial responsibility. We should teach our children personal finance in every grade, especially in high school. And money problems are going to continue to exist. Banks are going to continue to be rich because the kids don't know what they're doing. Who teaches the politicians how to be fiscally responsible? That's from Bart. Thank you. That's over
So
you,
back
Bart.
to the topic of students, because I think it's larger than students. I think the solution is educated parents who understand their responsibilities, that their responsibility to vote, that's in your bailiwick, their responsibility to have their children go to school, and their responsibility to make sure that the kids do their homework.
Well, let's talk about politicians being fiscally responsible. City of Lowell spent a ton of dough building
did
this
you,
structure,
think that?
right here. And what happens here is there's no parking. They added more classrooms. There's no parking for the students. There's no parking for the teachers. There's no parking for the administration.
Is this the STEM?
Yeah, right across the street.
Right.
And the city seems to ignore parking. I don't know how Wayne feels about parking, but the parking thing is going to be a problem until autonomous drive, automatic cars come into play, and they're still probably at least 10 years off. We need a place to park. And we built this structure without any concern for parking whatsoever. The city continues to push through, blowing our dough. Is there enough parking for Lowell High School, do you think, Wayne?
So I could sit here and talk to you for several hours about parking, John.
Okay.
I have a lot of thoughts on it, but specifically for Lowell High, I think with the AOT garage right across the street, that's a 1,200 spot garage, I believe. That's more than enough spaces for
Now,
what Lowell High
what's the
needs.
excuse for the Grand Master, Tom Golden, who makes more money than the mayor of Boston? There's no tunnel. There's no skyway over to the high school. Why is there no skyway over from the IUT garage to the high school?
I don't know that one's ever been proposed or looked at. I mean, it's a thought. I think that there is that exit that dumps you right onto Father Morissette there, so you can get across the street, or it might be French Street there. I'm not sure where that change happens.
Well, some morning you have nothing to do, Wayne.
Yep,
Try crossing that street
I'm sure it's a challenge.
when parents are dropping off their kids.
Yep. But you know, that's something we've done in other areas of the city. There's one of those sky bridges from the LRTA station into the renovated Thorndike Exchange Building. There is a small one that goes from the Leo Roy Garage into Canal Place 2. So it's not an untested or it's not a wild idea. And I think it's something we can look at. I have no idea what the cost of something like that would be, but I think it's probably worth looking at some point.
It can't be that hard. I spent through 7th grade in a town of 2,800, which had a sky bridge across a 2-track railroad.
Okay.
And all the kids on my half of the town, which was divided in half by that railroad, were able to walk across that bridge to get to class.
They had sky bridges back then?
Yes.
For horses.
And horses.
We already do have two.
I'm sorry, the horses went away about fourth grade, and then they paved the street.
Okay, makes
Comment
sense.
from
Read
the
this,
audience.
John.
The government has one main goal, get bigger. No, I would say survival. Survival above everybody. And they do that by going into our pockets, plain and simple. Wayne, you got any ideas to lower the tax rate in the city of Lowell?
Unfortunately, all our expenses are going in the wrong direction, John. Everything's getting more expensive these days. It's awful hard to make a smaller budget when, the same fuel or electricity costs, or the same amount of fuel or electricity costs probably 50% more than it did 5 years ago. Labor costs more, which is good. We got to pay our employees what they deserve. We, had a long time where we were losing many of our employees to neighboring cities and towns because they were getting much higher wages in other cities and towns. So that was something we had to look at. Education costs have gone up. We've seen the charter school assessments go through the roof. All these things are putting upward pressure on our budget. And unless there's large swaths of city services that we want to eliminate, I don't see how we can really move the needle in the other direction at this point.
You should, I'm not gonna give any city councilor or anybody running for office a hard time during election time. I give you a hard time once you're sworn into office. But I would certainly ask every city councilor to ask the golden man for a list, not of names, a number of employees who make over $100,000 a year. I think you'll be astounded. And that's where our money's going. It's going to the second, third, and fourth floor of City Hall. Administration's getting so big, we have to buy them another building. We have too many administrators in the city. That's my humble opinion. Back over to you, Cliff.
Can I ask a quick question? Because I have no clue about
Yes.
this, but I also want to see if it correlates in any way. So just looking at the U.S. national debt, right? Last Friday, I think, it was 33 trillion. Today, Monday, it's 37,185. And does that have anything to do with the rising costs in just everything that we see?
I mean, it certainly doesn't help. Spending the money the way we do as a country certainly isn't deflationary. Injecting that much expenditure into the economy is naturally going to make things cost more. That's going to trickle down to the city of Lowell. We're going to end up spending more for the steel to build our buildings, the tires to put on our vehicles. Everything is going to cost more just because of the overall economy.
So, back to my question, how do we educate the residents of Lowell to be more responsible as citizens, civic responsibility, and educate the adults about how they should bring their children up so that they are successful in school? Is there some way, some program, anything we can do to get these people to vote and make sure their kids go to school?
I think it's multifaceted, right? You have to meet people where they are. People are busy. You can't expect people to be able to devote a large amount of time to other things when everyone's just struggling to survive and put bread on the table. But it's things like civic engagement, it's building community structures, whether that's through churches, community groups, whatever, where people are already going, and just engaging people and really being out there and being seen. One thing that I found in my first 2 runs for council was I was knocking on doors and people were saying, hell, I've never seen anyone knock on my door and ask for my vote before. This is amazing. And I think some of that is driven by the change in the election system, but some of it also has to just be driven by us being willing to get out there, do the work, and meet people where they are and have those conversations. Building a better society and a better community where we're all we're all in it together is the end goal. How you get people to realize that they're in the boat with you, that's a challenge I think we all struggle with.
Okay. So speaking of participation, Sunday, Melanie Gilbert had something in the paper that there's going to be a public activity choosing the order in which people will be listed for the preliminary election, which is 9 September. So candidates, their representatives, and the public are invited to attend this drawing of names, which will impact District 3, the Belvedere, with 4 candidates, District 7, the Acre, and District 8, the Highland seat. All of them have more than 2 candidates. I've been to these kinds of activities. It's interesting, and I think that if the public shows up, it sends the signal that we think this is important and needs to be open.
I agree. I'm glad that this is happening in public. I'm pretty sure it's required by law to happen in public, but publicizing it and letting people know that we're doing it allows people to have that transparency and know that we're doing things the right way. And I'm confident in Director Rosenberry. I think he's doing a great job in the elections department, and I think that this is just another example of doing things the right way and being out there for the public to really see how the gears turn in city government.
Oh, and by the way, a chance to pick up an extra $100 easily is on the 9th of September. They'll be looking for poll workers, and what is it? Something like $125 or so?
No, I think it's like 200.
Yeah, so in my first term, I was able to bring something forward and ask the administration to look at what we're paying poll workers, because, we did do that salary review that I talked about earlier, but that excluded temporary seasonal work like poll workers, and our poll workers were earning less than minimum wage when you looked at the length of the day and what was involved. So it was really hard to recruit people to work the polls. We've been able to raise that pay such that people can afford to come and work the polls for a day. And so the elections department has had an easier time recruiting people to be fully staffed to make sure our elections run smoothly. And I'm proud of that accomplishment. And I think that we're seeing the benefits of that now. But yeah, if anyone is interested in working the polls, reach out to the elections department. I'm not sure what our staffing situation is right now for this cycle, but I do know they're always looking for people. It's a good way to be involved. It's a good way to pitch in and be part of the democratic process.
Cliff, what time you got to skedaddle?
I'm leaving in 6.5 minutes.
I just thought,
6.5, exactly. 6.30.
Well, now it's 6 1/4.
So in a local high school, not Lowell, one of the students, 18 years old, was detained by ICE on his way to volleyball practice. Raises a question about illegal immigrants, border jumpers, and should we make a difference for students than we do for adults? He was not born here, so the question of birthright citizenship doesn't come up. How should we be dealing with illegal immigrants and illegal immigrant children?
So I think there's a few different things here. One is someone who's 18 years old, has been in the country for a little while, however long that is. I think that it's important to note that they didn't make the choice to come here most likely. They were probably brought here by their parents. They were probably brought into the country for one reason or another, whether their parents came in and overstayed a visa or whatever the reason is they're here. everyone is entitled to due process, not just U.S. citizens, everyone. The Constitution is very clear on that. Case law is very clear on that. My biggest concern with the various ICE enforcement activities we've seen recently has been the lack of due process afforded to folks. How can you say that someone is in the country illegally and needs to be deported if you're never in a court of law to actually demonstrate that? I think that everyone deserves their right to a day in court, and I do think that that there are people who need to be deported. I'm
Wait,
not
I'll give you a
saying-
little pushback on that. Okay, when you get pulled over with no driver's license, they don't let you drive.
You have 24 hours to produce your driver's license. You don't go to jail for it.
They don't let you drive. You can't drive from the scene.
That's fine. You can walk away. You
Well,
can walk home.
These people have no rights. They're not citizens. That's
The
my
con-
take.
whoa.
wait,
No,
wait,
the
that's not right.
the Constitution says all persons are entitled to due process.
That's your take on it.
That's what
Yeah.
the text says, John.
I understand.
That's the
your-
table's take.
That's your take on it. Okay.
It's
That's
the
what the
table's
court says
take.
that
I'm going
too.
to read these two texts, and then we'll go back to you guys. Cliff is a master conductor of a chaotic orchestra. Well done. BRD, meaning Big Red Dog.
Thanks, Bart.
Great show today. Best of luck to Mr. Jenness. I think he's in for the fight against Sean McDonough. That's from Jay. Back to you guys.
Okay.
I don't think these people deserve a hearing, and I'm not changing my mind.
All right. But
So I've been
Oh,
listening,
hi, Mike.
so I agree with Wayne, everybody's entitled to their day in court. The problem is we let so many people in that we couldn't process that within a reasonable amount of time. So now we have
Then
a
why
big
do we cut
mess
the
in
budget to
country.
be?
Let him finish.
Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Yeah. So now we have a big mess in the country trying to track down people that were here that should have been had their day in court, so to speak. So, I mean, if we keep the border the way it is now, we shouldn't have a problem with dealing with people and giving them their day in court and dealing with all that when it's supposed to be done. So like I said, we always ask the wrong question. We have a problem now with this because we have so many people that were let into the country when they should have been not let in and been processed, with the judges. But we had so many people coming in, they couldn't do that in a reasonable amount of time. So now we're in a dilemma where we got to go and find people and figure out how we're going to deal with it. So I agree with Wayne that we need to have our day in court. So do we have enough judges to handle that? And do we have the right people in place to do it correctly? I mean, I don't have a problem with that at all. But if people came here illegally and they're not supposed to be here, then they need to leave unless they can justify that they belong here.
Okay, Mike, since they're here illegally, you going to let them work? Can they work?
No, they should
Well,
not.
then- so-
And
now,
the government
that said,
the government is cracking down on that now, going after businesses. And I think that the problem why businesses were hiring people that were not here legally is because there was not enough enforcement on the businesses to prevent that. And I think the only way you prevent that is you find the heck out of these businesses and hit them in their pocketbook to make sure people are here legally. I walk every day past a place that does day employment, and I see people lined up there. And Kathy's daughter used to work at a place for day employment in Colorado. She used to have to screen all the people. And they were very adamant about making sure all the credentials were right, or else people couldn't work for them. So it's the businesses that are trying to not follow the rules that need to pay a penalty. And then we shouldn't have that issue the same way.
Cliff, back over to you.
so, as I slide out of here, I ask, Lowell goes global. You getting a free trip to Switzerland?
So I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to be able to go, but there is a trip on the table for the city council to go to Geneva to participate in the launch of the Front Runner Cities Initiative over there. I'm excited by the Front Runner Cities Initiative. I think there's a great potential here for for some additional investment in the city and for us to us as Lowell to be on a stage where we haven't really been before, which is to have multinational support and folks looking at Lowell and looking at how to help us improve. I think it's an interesting step, and I'm interested to see where it goes.
If you don't go, will they take a Lowell school committee member?
You'd have to take that up with the mayor, I think.
So Wayne, I'm leaving. Good luck to you. Good luck to you, Eileen.
Thank you. I'm coming over here and taking over.
So while you're doing that, I'm going to do these announcements. I'm going to shut your mics off over there, do my announcements. Last little thing here is from Jay. You just can't jump the border and say, okay, give me a day in court. Good grief. Interesting comment. Okay, so tomorrow night is National Night Out in Lowell. A lot of places do this. National Night Out, there's one in Centerville and one on the North Common. The only one I have an announcement on is the one at the Maury School. Starts at 5 o'clock tomorrow, so contact your neighborhood association to find out if National Night Out is at your neighborhood tomorrow night. Thanks, Cliff. And it's free. Free food, all kinds of fun that's going to happen at National Night Out. Coffee with a Cop. This is out in Tewksbury at Donna's Donuts. One of the most delicious donuts you're ever going to have in your life is at Donna's Donuts. Worth the trip on August 8th from 7 to 10 a.m. And then the last announcement, Tingsboro Block Party is coming up towards the end of the month, August 23rd. Starts at 11 o'clock and goes until the fireworks. So Eileen, over to you. Thanks.
Good morning. Welcome to the Eileen Delrossi Show. We have our guest, Wayne Jenness, running for city councilor. We have Mike Smith from New York, upstate New York, but you're currently in Florida, right?
Well, I live in Florida full time now. I was from New York. I live in Largo, Florida, southwest of Tampa. So,
all right. And we have our producer, John McDonough, and we have Cliff's, 21-page agenda that we're only on page, 22. And we're only on page 12. So we have plenty of content for the rest of the show.
All right. Is this how it normally goes?
Yeah, sometimes it's like 30 pages. Things are moving. All right, we talked about a future front runner city. It might be a mouthful. Yeah, it is a mouthful. Okay.
So Wayne, going forward, what do you think on your next term? What do you think the city's going to do? Where do you think the city's going? What are some of the things you'd like to see the city manager put on the drawing board to make happen?
Sure. So I think, as I mentioned earlier, I think we're at an interesting flux point here with funding, and I think that the next couple budgets are going to be tough. I think that we're going to have to be making some really hard decisions about services, about staffing levels, about what we can accomplish as a city and what we can't. And I think that those discussions need to happen with the community in mind, and the community needs to be involved. And so I'm hopeful that we'll be able to do some more of the budgeting listening sessions that were done this year. I think those are important, and I want to see those expand because as we have to make tougher decisions, I think the more input we can get from various corners of the community are important. And so I want to see that expand. I want to see us maintain our focus on the infrastructure of the city. Since I've been on the council, we've expanded the amount of money we're spending paving roads, fixing sidewalks, making the city more livable for folks. And I want to make sure we maintain that focus. There's still a lot of streets out there across the city that need attention, that need to be updated. From a safety point of view, we have intersections that are still dangerous. We need to take steps to make them safer for people driving and people walking and people biking across the city. So I want to make sure we continue to look at that. And I want to make sure that our school system, we don't have the funding fight that we had this year. As I mentioned earlier, I think the collaboration between the manager and the superintendent is key in that area. And really the work on next year's budget starts now. So we have to get in there. We have to get to work on this stuff and not let things surprise us, jump up at the last minute. It's all about planning. It's all about coordination, and I think we just need to do more of that. I also want to see the city focus on livability issues around the downtown and around our neighborhoods, whether that's the issues we've had with unhoused folks, the issues we've had with landlords who don't take care of their property, absentee landlords, things like that, just require constant focus from the administration and figuring out ways to solve the problems that face a city like Lowell.
Two comments from the audience, then going back over to Eileen. Councilor Jenness gives the impression he advocates for non-Americans, more for non-Americans than American citizens. Good luck with your re-election. You're safe with me. I vote in another district. Continuing on to the next text, what position should have a take-home city car? Back to you, Eileen.
All right. How we feel on the homeless issue
So,
in Lowell, being downtown where it's, more prominent, I think, than any other district.
Yes, it's certainly more concentrated downtown, and I think that's in large part due to that's where the services are, right? If you're homeless, if you don't have a place to live, you're going to go wherever the services are available. And right now, that's downtown. I think that we're at an interesting challenge. The housing crisis that exists across not just Lowell, but not just Massachusetts either, but really regionally and nationally, really puts a pressure on all of these systems that are in place to help folks. You can't do a housing first homeless strategy like the city of Lowell has tried to do without housing. You need to have places to move people into that are permanent supportive housing. You can't just take folks who are struggling with addiction or mental health issues and just put them in an apartment building and say, good luck, have fun. That's not going to work for them. It's not going to work for their neighbors. So to be able to work with our partners to develop more of this permanent supportive housing, not just in Lowell, but regionally, so that we have places where folks can get the services they need in order to get back to being a productive member of society, I think is really the only way out here. We're not going to rest our way out of this. We're not going to be able to just ship people out of town and wash our hands of them. It's not going to happen. The only way to do it is to build these permanent supportive housing scenarios with help from our state and federal partners, because we are not going to be able to do that within the city budget.
Are you
Let
finding?
me ask you on that point.
Sure.
How do you feel about President Trump's executive order? We can pick these people up off the street.
I think it's in conflict with the Massachusetts Constitution. So I'm interested to see how it comes to play here in Massachusetts.
Because here we have the opportunity to take.
What are you going to do with them, John?
I have the answer.
All right.
I'm going to put them in the Baraca House of Correction. There's 600 empty cells out there that are supervised. Get them the help that they need, and where they can prove to themselves, the person in the mirror, that they can live by themselves, find them a place to live. That's my solution. What's your solution? Leave them on the sidewalk?
No, it's working with our federal partner. Working
What's
with
your
our.
solution? It hasn't worked.
It's a process.
Hasn't worked.
There's no magic bullet here.
Yes, there is.
No,
Pick
there
them
isn't.
up, put them in the Baraca House of Correction.
And then when you fill the 600 beds, what do you do then?
We have less than 600.
We do, but not across the state, not across the region.
Well, Wayne, you can say anything you want. What we're doing is not. You think what we're doing is working?
I think what we're doing has worked for some folks, but hasn't worked for everybody. And I don't think anything is going to work for everybody. I don't think the state has the funding or the resources to be able to sweep up a bunch of people, throw them in the Billerica House of Correction, and give them those services. Those services need to be developed. What the housing structure looks like, whether it's the Billerica House of Corrections or a new apartment building somewhere or something else, I don't know. That's something that that is going to have to be figured out. And yes, our existing strategy as a society, not just Lowell, but as a society, has certainly not ended homelessness or reduced it. If anything, we're going in the wrong direction. I think we can agree on that, and it's just the way out is the question.
How many people do you think we can fit in Concord prison?
I have no idea. I
From
also,
there, it's empty.
it is.
Thousands. So, see, the fact that these people retain their rights, and I'll stop this discussion after I'm done talking.
Because we go to light and fluffy.
They retain their rights, and they shouldn't be able to retain their rights. A high person should not retain their rights.
So I have
I'll
a
give you,
question.
you can comment back if you want, Wayne, we'll turn the page.
I just think that, first of all, I don't know that a prison environment is the right environment to help people get past whatever their struggles may be.
Better than the sidewalk.
Could be worse. But I think it depends on the person, it depends on their struggles. But also, I think that, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. Back over to
As
Eileen.
state
Thank
partners,
you.
this is one last kind of question I have on this subject. Like, it just seems like our neighboring communities in the NEMCOC, is that what it's called?
Yep.
Like, they're not ponying up in the game either. Like, they're not showing up to the table in this battle that we are primarily seeing in Lowell.
Yeah, it's a challenge to get the other communities to do something, whatever that something might be. And some of it needs to be driven from the state level, right? Because we as Lowell aren't going to be able to tell Tewksbury, hey, you need to do something, or hey, Tewksbury, you'd be really helpful if you could do X. That kind of stuff needs to come from the state level, whether it's the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, the state legislature, the governor's office. That's what I talk about when I say working with our state and federal partners. I think that our state reps have done a great job advocating for us, but we still need more assistance from the actual executive arm of the state government.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so now we go to our fun and fluffy hour, light and fluffy.
All right.
Light and fluffy hour. So tell us about you as just a person, Wayne.
It's 10 minutes back.
Wait, 8 minutes.
Okay, good.
8 minutes.
Good girl. Thank you.
All right. So a little bit about me as a person. Right now I live downtown with my wife, our dog, and our 3 cats.
Oh, and what's your dog's name?
Our dog's name is Lucy. She was named after Lucy Larkham of Mill Girl fame. We live on Market Street in one of the old mill buildings, Canal Place. We've been there since 2015. Prior to that, I lived over at the boot mills for a few years. I was living over there when I met my wife at a Spinners game. She had been living in Market Street at the time. We moved in together just before we got married. Then we got married. Then we bought our place over on Market Street. We've been happy there. It's a really great building. I really enjoy living in the downtown. Professionally, I'm an IT guy. I work for a software company down in Wakefield. I've done IT for educational institutions, for healthcare. I worked for the community health center for about a year and a half. I'm
sorry
No, go
to
ahead.
interrupt. I remember when the city was hacked and you were like so like on top of that. Like, and my whole thing with the city too is like we're always so reactive instead of proactive and being safe. And like I saw that in you and your professional position at that point.
Yeah, that was, I felt like I was in the right spot at the right time for that. It happened really right after my first term started, when the city had that incident. And part of that, the cause of that was just, a fairly similar theme across the city, which is just chronic underinvestment and maintenance that we hadn't been able to do because we hadn't been able to fit it in the budget. We hadn't prioritized it. And so we had a lot of what we in the industry call tech debt, which is basically just old stuff that hasn't been upgraded, hasn't been really configured to modern standards to be a secure system. And we saw the results of that. Since then, we have been able to make significant investments into our technology infrastructure across the city. I think the CIO has done a good job of pushing us forward and pushing us to a place
What's the CIO?
Sorry, Chief Information Officer.
Okay.
That's Moran Fernandez, who runs the city's Information Systems Department. And we're now in a much more secure, much more reliable technology environment as a city. And we just need to continue to stay on top of that. Nothing stays the same in tech. What is state of the art now will be old news in 2 to 4 years. So it's really about trying to stay ahead of it and understand where the industry's going and where we need to be and not be playing catch up.
And we all have LifeLock now.
That's
And
true.
how long does LifeLock last for in the city?
I can't remember.
Is it 2 years, I think they gave
That-
it to us
that-
for? So
yeah,
it may
2
be
or
about
3.
to end?
Yeah, I can't remember
Is it still
exactly how long
secret
it
what
was.
happened?
No, I don't think it was ever secret,
Oh,
right?
yeah, it was secret.
Yeah.
I had people tell me the computers are working fine.
So it was
It's the cops who tattled mostly.
there was a significant investigation involved.
But
and
the
so,
question is, wait, can you say what happened?
I'm not comfortable saying what happened because
I understand.
I don't know what I know that is public information and what isn't. So I don't want to misspeak on that one.
Understood.
Interesting, okay. So what's your plans for today? You doing anything fun? You going to work?
Yep, gonna go to work. It's pretty typical Monday work day, so I'll be heading down to Wakefield after this and putting in a good 8 hours.
How long is the traffic like?
It's usually 30 to 40 minutes if all goes well. Sometimes it can be a little longer, but it's not too bad.
What time do you do at work?
We're pretty flexible. I try to get there before 9 every day, so as long as I get in the car, it should be okay.
Because I don't go to Boston before 9:45.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
I have the
not do
luxury
that.
of I don't have to be there for a certain time, so.
Yep.
I travel the 95 roads, the Route 3 and 95 roads to bring my son to school, so I feel like I've become a professional. Sometimes it's a half an hour. You realize people in the summer take Mondays and Fridays off, kind
Yep.
of, and so you get a little break. And then, yeah, sometimes.
The
it's
first week after Labor Day is always
Crazy.
Is always a whole. It's just this smack in the face of, oh yeah, this is what traffic is like.
Welcome back.
Yes, exactly.
Everyone's back to school. All right, we need your elevator speech. Why should we all vote for you in November of
While
2020?
he's thinking about what he wants to say, tomorrow's City Life, we're going to have, get that up on the screen. Come on, baby. Okay. Tom Bowman's going to be here. Ned Tarmey's still in rehab. Bobby Hoey's still in the hospital. Gary Casella and Artie Santos are coming. And Tewksbury Selectman Mark Crappen, I think he's the chair of the Tewksbury Selectmen. That's tomorrow's City Life. Back over to you, Wayne, for your comments.
All right. Thank you, John. First, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to come in and chat. It's good to see you guys. In terms of the elevator speech, so I think that I've earned another term. I hope that I have, because I have provided some pretty good, steady leadership over the past 4 years. I've really built deep connections with the various neighborhood groups across the district. I'm always available to listen, to hear what struggles folks are having, and I believe I have the experience to be able to find solutions. I look at things in a systems-based way. I don't look at something as just the problem. I look at how that problem was created, how we can fix it, and how we can keep it from happening again. I think that my experience over the past 4 years has been has been valuable, and I've learned a lot, and I want to continue serving the people of District 4 and the people of Lowell. So I ask for your support. I will take a moment to jump in and just say, if anyone's looking to learn a little bit more about me, tomorrow night from 5:30 to 7 at Warp and Weft, I'm doing a campaign fundraiser, so come on down, have some appetizers, have a chat with me. I'd be more than happy to speak with anyone about
What are you
any
going to
issue.
have to eat?
Gotta come and find out.
Say goodbye, kids.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thanks for
All
watching.
right,
See you
I will.
tomorrow.
I'm easily bribed with food.
Which article?
All right, everybody have a good day. I will see you next Monday.
Sorry, Mike.